Hello, what's up guys? I'm Kyle from KGR, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Movie Collection Multipack. Now this box set is exclusive to Target, so if you want to pick this up, a link will be in the description to either ship it to your house or hopefully do a store pickup. But this set of figures is in a 4-inch scale, so we're going to be comparing this to the normal movie Sonic from the 4-inch line, because there are some differences besides the fact that he's just in different costumes. This set runs you about 30 bucks or so, about $27.99. So we're going to be getting up close detail on each of these figures and go over some of the differences. And you might want to subscribe because next week we're going to be going over the Sonic cereal. We're going to be testing this out real quick because I never had this cereal. It's supposed to kind of be like Honey Nut Cheerios with marshmallows, but I never had Honey Nut Cheerios, so I don't really know how to compare it to that. So I might get some Honey Nut Cheerios to compare this with. And I also try to keep up to date with the Sonic figures, so I'm going to try to review all of them, and I'll give you news updates on when they become available and stuff. So again, sub for all of that. So question of the day before we open this box up, how many times have you seen the Sonic movie so far? I've seen it twice, only because I got free tickets to see it again, because the first experience wasn't great because a kid kept talking and he puked right next to us. But besides that, I love the movie. So I'm so excited for it to come out to, Paramount Plus at the end of May. And also we're going to be getting it, on Blu-ray here pretty soon. The Steelbook got shown off and Steelbook looks so sick. I'm so ready for that. But enough of me wasting your time. Let's go over the box real quick. So obviously we got the nice window display where it showcases all 3 Sonics in there. We got the baseball Sonic, the party Sonic, as well as the snow Sonic. Then we got the little logo Sonic running through the ring right here. We've seen that since the first movie. And then we got the same standard render of Sonic that we see on all the other box sets. And then on the other side as well. And then on the back, we get a little showcase of all the figures and how they look. And it says how they're articulated. Then it wants you to buy the other 4-inch figures of Sonic, Knuckles, Robotnik, and Tails. As of right now, they're still kind of hard to find, so that kind of sucks. But Wave 2 should be coming out sometime shortly. And I'm getting those figures as well. So they're going to be shipped directly to the house. So whenever they come out, I'm ready. And then at the top, it just says Sonic Movie Collection in different languages. And then Sonic going through the ring again. And then legal mumbo jumbo on the bottom. Now let's open this up and let's take a closer look. And here's all 3 figures. Now normally I drop them on camera, but since we have 3 figures, I can't do that elegantly. Now we're going to be going over each figure individually, and we'll just go from there. And then towards the end, I'll do the comparison with all of them with the Sonic. Now we're going to go over each one on how they come in the pack. So first we're going to take a look at Baseball Sonic. Now here is Baseball Sonic. Now out of the 3, this is my least favorite one, because first up, Baseball Sonic doesn't really show up in the movie. They have him as like an usher, I think. I can't remember. Whoever catches the ball like from the pitcher. They have him as that in the movie, but that's it. At least from what I remember from seeing it twice. But yeah, this little setup, like I was hoping it would probably go more closer to like how it was in the first movie, where like they hid most of his quills in his hat. But no, they don't do that. But they do have him like set up so he is ready to catch a ball, but the way they had it set up in the movie was different from this design, so this is not really in the movie. And also, like, this is going to be going for all the figures. The way they were packaged was really weird because, like, some of the joints would be on backwards. Like, even some of the legs would be in there backwards like that. And, like, even though the foot would be correct, the joint would, like, go that way if you didn't fix it. So, when you open these figures out of the packaging, you're definitely going to want to, like, adjust them and make sure they're set up correctly. And I remember with the baseball one in particular, when I was trying to bend the arms like the way they were supposed to, like suppose I wanted him to like bring his little thing in, it would not bend in correctly. So what I ended up doing was I ended up rotating from the elbow and then bring it in that way, and then it worked just fine. So if you end up having issues very similar to that, just try twisting the joints around and like making sure they're going the right way. The joints can go either direction technically, but it is very annoying when you have those kind of problems, especially out of the box. But if you had the previous Sonic figure from the 4-inch line, then you know what to expect. But if you've never seen that figure before, so here the way the joints are set up on this figure are very, very weird. So what happens is, from the bottom of the leg as well as the bottom of the arm, that's going to have a mushroom peg going into the other side of the arm or leg. So the articulation becomes very, very fragile. So it's a very small mushroom peg in there. So I've already seen some people snap their figures already. Thankfully, I haven't done that yet, but the fact that that's a problem is a huge flaw in the design. And since this is still very early in the line, I don't think they're even going to fix that throughout the whole toy line. I'll be real with you. Part of me wants to say, oh, since it's early, they might fix it later. But no, this is going to be a very small line of figures. They're not going to be pushing this for too much longer. This is going to be going for this year for I don't know how many months. And then they're just going to focus back on just regular Sonic stuff until the next movie comes out. Or when the Paramount Plus show for Knuckles comes out. We'll see what happens. But you can tell this is early when it comes to designs because this was given to them like, hey, make this, but it never was in the movie anyway. But you can get him in poses where he looks like he's ready to pitch and stuff like that, which that looks really nice. But speaking of looking really nice, the eyes on him are painted very differently compared to the regular Sonic. In fact, I'll pull that out right now so you can actually see. And here he is next to regular Sonic. Now, it's mainly the eyes you want to pay attention to. The irises are much thicker. The reflective white circle in the eyes, that is a lot more prominent. It looks overall like a much more polished product. Now, if they make another Sonic in Wave 2 that looks just like this, but just more polished, I would definitely buy another Sonic like that. Because even though I don't like this design, this set of figures all have the same type of eye paint job, and I much prefer it this way over the way it is over here. But besides the eyes paint job being different, it's mostly the same figure articulation and all. They just added a few more sculpts to it to give him either a glove, a hat, or whatever. But let's get back to just the baseball Sonic. Yeah, besides that, he looks really, really good. Even though this is not my favorite design because it's not in the movie, and I wish they would have made it so all of his quills were hidden in the hat, he looks fantastic. I love the way this figure came out because it's mainly that face. The face is what does it for me. And that, and this pose looks so good. And just the overall design of the action figures for Sonic Movie 2, they just came out so good. Part of me wishes that they all came with accessories as well. It'd be nice to actually have Sonic have a baseball too, but nah, it is what it is. But just like the other movie Sonic figures, he also has movement in his ankles so he can perfectly balance himself. So he has no issues on being top heavy or anything. He has perfect balance. Since we went over the knees and the elbows, they have 3 locking points because the Jax figures are just like that. But the hips as well as the shoulders are mostly universal, so you can move them as freely as you want to. The shoulders do have that locking mechanism as well, so it is going to be a little bit tight when you first do it. The figure does break in easily, but it's so tight in the beginning that it is nerve-wracking trying to play with this because this figure is very fragile. The mushroom pegs and stuff like that, they are somewhat flexible, so it helps alleviate from possibly fracturing, but it's still kind of fragile, so I'd still be very careful with this if you can. Also, his little belly guard right here, this is also made out of a flexible plastic, so you don't have to worry about breaking that, I guess. I don't know, but it's just pasted right on his belly. So I mean, it looks good. None of this stuff comes off, but if it did, it's sculpted accordingly, so it would be an ugly figure if you took all that stuff off. So although this one's my least favorite out of the 3, this one still looks really good. Now let's move on to Party Sonic. And here is Party Sonic. Now my main criticism when I first saw this was I was hoping that he'd also have a mohawk or an afro or something like that. But that's just a small nitpick. I wouldn't put that against the review. But besides that, again, he looks really good. I love how even though his glasses aren't see-through, they're very reflective. So if you have it against light, like you can see in the ring light, you can see how well it looks like that. My main concern when I first saw this was I thought the toga would be very restrictive, but no, it is very, very soft. It's very, very flexible. The hips articulation is very stiff at first, but that's just the main criticism with the figures altogether. So once you force it through, if you want him to run, he can run with not too much hindrance. The chain is also sculpted to the toga, so you can't really adjust that all that much, but it's not going to matter all that much anyway. I noticed that the arms, like the shoulders, don't really go down as far as the regular movie Sonic, but it's only by like a few degrees. It doesn't make that much of a difference. But everything on him looks really good, like the little headband around his head, that looks pretty fine. But besides there being like a toga around him, like again, it's a standard Sonic figure. I couldn't tell you how his irises look because the sunglasses aren't see-through, but you can see like hints of it if you move the figure around enough. But again, like he's supposed to look cool though. So overall, he turned out pretty good. Even though this scene only lasts like a minute throughout the whole 2-hour movie, at least he exists. I kind of wish he had like little different hand signs or something. Like he's like either give like a peace sign or like a chocobra type of thing. I don't know. Crap! Anyway, besides, like, I wish he would have came with like little hand signs to like make it more like a party Sonic, because he's not going to be holding any accessories, so there's no point in him having like a gripping hand. So I don't know, I wish it would have vibed with a more party Sonic than anything, but it's whatever. I mean, it looks cool, he's fine. But now let's bring out the Snow Sonic, my personal favorite out of the three. And here is Snow Sonic. Now, I absolutely love the design of this. I wish it also would have came with a Snow Tails. Like, I was hoping they'd do like a double pack between this and Snow Tails, but no. So, are we getting a Snow Tails? We'll see what happens. Come on, Jax, bring it out. But this one is the most interesting out of the three because it is designed very differently. Now, the reason why this one's so different is not just because of the fact that he's always in his little snow outfit, but even his face is different compared to the other ones. Now, if you bring out the other ones, like this one's a lot easier to see, he still has like the one eyebrow still bent down a little bit lower, like just like the regular movie Sonic right here, okay? So like you can see like how like, it looks a little cocky, looks determined and stuff like that. While with this one, both of his eyebrows are raised like he's supposed to be like happy and expressive. So it makes you wonder how Sonic would look like that as a full figure. Are we going to see that down the line? Probably not. We'll see what happens. But I love how much better, again, like the way the faces look. It looks so much better compared to this Sonic. But anyway, let's go over Snow Sonic individually because there's more I want to go over with him. Like I said, like the face looks fantastic, but the rest of him, you can see how his quills are all crushed in. Mine has a little bit of like red paint on this top set of quills. Like that's gonna vary from figure to figure, and obviously you can't see that from the box, so that's gonna be a risk you're gonna have to take. But this one is also sculpted very differently because the articulation is very, very different. So it still has that locking mechanism like the rest of them do, but like that's as much movement you're gonna get out of that knee. And that's how much movement you're going to be getting from the hips. There's no elbow articulation, it's just moving the shoulders, and that's about it. Can you move the head? Barely. This one's a very, very restricted figure. You can't even move the ankles or anything either. Like, this is it. It is purely for aesthetic. He's just gonna stand there. He's not gonna be in any action poses. You can't even have him sit down like he's like having a dinner at the bar or whatever. So although this is like the least impressive figure in the set, well, at least we got wrist movement, so that's good. So even though this is the least articulated out of the three, so it's the least impressive, this one's my favorite just because of how it looks. This one's the most adorable one. So again, I hope they make a Snow Tails, but I mean, we'll see what happens. But since these figures also have a better eye paint job compared to the first Sonic, I want to also compare it to Tails and Knuckles. Originally, I wasn't going to, but I feel like we want to see the quality improve on these figures, so let's take a look back at the other ones and just do a quick comparison. So now we have Tails and Knuckles. If you look at Tails, you can see that he has the same polish, I should say, when it comes to the eyes, where you get that perfect thickness around the irises. You also get outlining around the iris, like on Sonic. I just noticed that now. So it makes it look a lot more defined and cartoony. While with Knuckles, even though the thickness of the iris is there, it doesn't have that black outline around the irises. Now the lighting on the iris isn't perfect either. Like you can see how it has like a good spot on Sonic and Tails. Knuckles looks alright, but again, it doesn't have that outline around the iris. So I love how much it improved, but now that they improved on it, now I want to see a rerun of the first wave just to look better. So now it's going to bother me a little bit. So overall, what are my thoughts on these figures? It shows that quality is being improved on the toy line, even though this set isn't very necessary. If you want to be a completionist, then go for it like I am, but you're not really missing out on anything. So if you don't want these, you're completely fine. But I do like the step in the right direction when it comes to the quality of the figures going up a little bit. Unfortunately, the articulation problems are still there, which kind of sucks, but it overall still looks good. And it has me even more excited on the quality on what Wave 2 is going to be like whenever that releases. So is it worth the $30? That's completely up to you. If you want these figures, then sure, it's worth the 30 bucks. But if you don't really like these designs, like, nothing really changed besides a better paint job on the eyes. That's it. These outfits only show up for a couple of minutes in the movie, and the one's not even in the movie at all. So for the collectors, they're probably going to like this. But for just a casual fan who just wants a Sonic toy, they can pass on this if they want. So if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description, there's going to be my social media, so follow me on whatever you like. If my DMs are always open, but check out my live streams because we can talk openly about these Sonic figures if you'd like. Let me know in the comments who all do you want to see in Wave 2. We're probably getting 4 figures, so I'm hoping a revised Sonic. I want to see a Snow Tails. I want to see a green Robotnik, and maybe a revised Knuckles with a Master Emerald maybe. That's it for the video. I love you guys to death, and I'll see you on the next one, so peace.